Downtown between Brush Street and I-375. That's where we're located in the heart of Detroit at Ford Field, which first opened back in 2002. Today, we've got a Week 6 matchup for you here between the San Francisco 49ers and the Detroit Lions.
Here we go. 180!
On first down, Garoppolo. Man open, that's Deebo Samuel. And he'll get this from the 25 to the 30 for a pickup of 5. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. Ball on the 30, they'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Throw right side, taken in by Pettis. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29.
Now that was well defended, and as a cornerback, what you're taught when you see a wide receiver screen, either you get underneath the play before the blocking forms, or you're going to have to fight your way through it by getting through some blocking. That was a really nice play there.
And he won't quite make it. He needed 6. He got about 5. 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback.
Ready. Mike, 54 Mike. Check. Watch 54. Here we go. Hey, watch it. 80 weapon. Mike's by 4.
Off play action. Pritchett.
6-man.
And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
Yeah, that one sailed on him. You've got to make sure you give your receiver a chance to come down inbounds because they are very gifted. They'll make the circus catches, but they make them out of bounds. That does you no good.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. The first carry now. This is Johnson. And they'll blow that one up back at the 16-yard line. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
What we got?
Off the play fake. Pritchett. And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. DeForest Buckner able to record his 5th sack of the season.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking, but to me it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play action sack. And San Francisco gets set to go here. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
On second down, it's Coleman. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up 3rd down.
A quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers putting their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action them or stick something to them between the 2nd and the 3rd level.
That gain of 9 buys them a new set of downs. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger game. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 12 yards there and a first down. Garoppolo on the offense with a 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. His throw caught right around the 6. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. Deebo Samuel, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Niners have taken the early lead. Gold able to tack on the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So they will accept the penalty and move forward. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field. And the last drive, the first drive for them, not very good. 3 and out. What do they go to here?
Well, you don't look down at your play sheet and say, this is what the problem is. Now, let's find out who my playmakers are. Get the ball in their hands, and maybe the offense will move a little bit better.
Sometimes it's more important to get it to the right people rather than dialing up the right number.
Exactly.
Or the right play, yeah.
That, too.
Let's get it.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
You're not ready.
2nd and 10. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Quan Alexander. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line.
Offensively, when you see cover 2, the thought has to go through the quarterback's head. Drive the football when making throws. It's not just the deep guys covering. It's the guys underneath you have to be careful of. Drive your throw. Otherwise, you see what results? Interceptions.
So after the INT, it's Garoppolo. They'll find Goodwin here on the right side. And across the chalk, into the end zone, it's a 49er touchdown. Marquise Goodwin, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the 49ers add 6 to their lead. On this play, he just made a great route. The quarterback had to deliver it, sure, but a great route run there.
And, Brandon, this is what the best receivers do. They work on their route running because it's one thing to have athletic ability, but to really get open, you have to set up defensive backs with different routes and be precise in your cuts.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. He'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line.
Let's go.
Out comes this field general once more, leading his offense back onto the field. And he'll look to rebound from the early interception that led to 6 points the other way.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline, I guarantee his first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself, but he can't force things.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Johnson running left. And not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Off play action. Pritchett looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jason Verrett. And into the end zone, a pick 6 for the 49er D as they score the touchdown.
Partner, what we just saw, that's a great example of a team that was really amped up. They've been playing so well, yet they didn't get overexcited and have a bust on defense and gave up a big play. Instead, they created their own big play with a pick six. This one may be over.
Yeah, it's just the first half, but that lead has swelled to the point where you're wondering if it is over already. Fielded about a yard deep. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. What a disastrous start for him so far. He's thrown the ball 2 times, both times intercepted.
The heck with his progressions. The heck with what he's seeing downfield. It's really simple, partner. See the color shirts your team's wearing? Throw to those. Not the other color shirts. The color that your team is wearing. That's what the coach is telling him right now.
Throwing after the interception. Pritchett. Rush coming, and he's taken down.
3 scores down, not even a halftime yet. They are not getting much generated offensively. They've got to figure it out.
It's tough because this defense just seems to be playing with so much confidence right now.
They really are. They are on their toes, and they're getting at them.
To throw on second down. Pritchett. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. Give him 9 on the play, and it'll be 3rd down. He missed on his first 3 passes, was 0 for 3. Now gets a connection. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for panic, but there was some concern because once you start in a certain pattern, you're wondering, can you get out of it? And that flips the other way, too, when you're throwing it really well. In this case, now he's got his first completion. They think he might be off to the races.
Off the play fake. Pritchett. It's caught. Jones. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. First time these two have hooked up this afternoon, and it's a 1st down.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
He used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't let them outside where they can really shred your defense.
Ready up. 54. Mike 54. I'm coming.
On 2nd down, Johnson. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. He'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily.
Under pressure here, and down he goes. Sacked back at about the 43-yard line. D. Ford in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to 4th down.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. They are clicking on all cylinders. They seem to be just scoring at will right now, and that's why they've opened up this big lead.
You know, we always talk about getting into the zone, and all athletes are seeking that, aren't they? Where everything is working for them, every move they make works, it clicks, and they are on point right now.
Yeah, they are in that zone that you're talking about. And he'll take this one only up to about his 13-yard line. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run,
pressure gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line.
Well, maybe that can give him a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a jolt. One of the few things that's gone right defensively.
Because other than that, it's really been a first half to forget. Here comes the 49ers punter now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. Look at the spin.
Balance.
Great coverage there. Holds him to a 2-yard return following a 50-yard punt. And Detroit getting set to go now. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down. No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively. And time finally runs out. He can't get rid of the football, and he's taken down. Nick Bosa. What a play by him. That's going to go as a loss of 13.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Looking to throw on second down. Pritchett. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on first down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
And for the third time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked up by Quan Alexander. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. So that is 3 interceptions now in this first half, and you hate to ask the question, but let's be honest, we're thinking about it. Do you need to go in a different direction next series?
Potentially. We know that he's probably not going to be on the Pro Bowl ballot. That's not really his stature here, but he has been their starting quarterback for this game. So they've got to weigh things about who's behind him. Do they think he can snap it back into gear? Maybe change up the play calling to help him out a little bit.
Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. And there they bring pressure from the inside, and they get home.
Yeah, hard to block everyone, isn't it? And on this play, someone did not get blocked. He's the one who got home.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
And it is true. You can draft the fastest. You can draft the most athletic guys. But if they don't know the art of positioning, sometimes it's all for naught. In this case, in the right spot, help force the incompletion.
Yeah, but had his hands on it for a second. Would have been a tough catch, though. Falls incomplete. Now here's the signal caller getting ready to lead this offense again. He struggled. His team has struggled. You talked to me a lot about looking to your leaders. Maybe it's time for him to put his mark on this game.
Agreed. And how that has to happen is somehow he's got to flush out everything that's happened so far and almost start over and get back to that confident level and know that he can play the game, because so far this has been a real struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the interceptions, trying to turn it around. Well, even after all those interceptions, he's not deterred, still confident to go deep at work there.
I think all the old rules.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Quan Alexander. And into the end zone, a pick 6 for the 49er D as they score the touchdown. That pick 6 extending this lead even further. And boy, it's been a while since I've seen a team struggle this badly in the first half.
I think all they want to do is get to the locker room, try and regroup, and come out to start the third quarter. But if things don't improve fast then, I think the backups get a lot of play in the second half.
Gold with the extra point, and a rout is on here in this first half. Fielded about a yard deep. And there is a flag as he's brought down right at the 25-yard line. But who's this going to be against?
Defense.
So that one will be accepted.
Automatic first down.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. Off play action. Pritchett. And Jones has it over the middle. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a first down. This quarterback now 4 out of 10 throwing the ball in this first half, but he's got a first down here. He's going to rifle one deep left side, and that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. I hate to sound really negative, but at this point, an incomplete pass, almost a moral victory that it's not picked off.
Well, you may hate to sound negative, but that was negative.
It was very negative, I know, but all these first-half interceptions, it's been tough to watch.
Yeah, couldn't find a silver lining in this one, much more like lead.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Looking to throw. Pritchett. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
Off the play fake, Pritchett. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down.
Partner, I think that completion takes the definition of dink and dunk to a different level, doesn't it?
It does, and the defense was right there, kind of played into their hands.
Let's go now. 30 base. 54. Mike 54. Who that? Who that? Let's go.
On 4th down, Pritchett. That's to his running back, complete. And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. 4th down, no problem. Just a ho-hum pickup of 14 to keep the offense on the field. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards.
One of the feature points of the end route is being able to make a nice throw to the middle part of the field. And for a quarterback, that's one of the better throws and better looks that he'll get. But he has to be careful not to wait too long and let his receiver wander into some tough territory. If he's late with the ball, he can get his receiver hit and hit hard.
A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. They'll hand it off now. Johnson. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Yes, a timeout here as it looks like we've got a lion that's shaken up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. The Lions on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. This will be 3rd and 5. Operating from the gun. Pritchett looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
This offense converted once on 4th down earlier. Now they're out there again to try once more. On 4th down, Pritchett. And that is going to be incomplete. The Lions turned away on 4th down. And the 49ers are going to get the football back. Well, their first 4th down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness. I like what they're doing. They got it the first time they went for it. Why not a second time? I don't think they'll be daunted from attempting it again. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, though, any fourth down stop is a big momentum play.
Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
So we've come to halftime. You want the third quarter already? No problem. Let's do it. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. Any surprise in your mind he's out there to start the second half after 4 first-half interceptions?
I used to be surprised by a lot of things, partner, but in this case I'm not because you know they want him to be their guy. And the only way to truly establish that is to give him a chance to work through some of the issues he had in the first half.
Here we go! 60 Pittsburgh! 54. Here we go, D! Shoot!
On 1st and 10, Pritchett. He's got Anderson right side.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Ready.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Just like that.
2nd and 6. And he rifles one incomplete. Nelson Aguilar, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd down.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Well, you got a young quarterback, maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
Here's a look at the 49ers offense as they make their way out for their first possession of the second half. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we've got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Check so far. Defense shut them down. Let's see if the offense gets done. Nothing fancy on 1st down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Devon Kennard gets him for a loss of 10 yards from his linebacker spot.
Pressure can come from all over when you're plotting a defensive strategy. On that particular play, it just came from the outside.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the 1st down, even throwing the football.
And that one hits at the 7, but bounds into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. And 3 and out on the last drive. No points on the scoreboard. A little soul-searching now?
I would say so, and they need to help out their defense a little bit. They've had to be on the field a lot more than normal, put them in some tough spots. But what's the old adage? When you get another chance, it gives you a better chance to do it right.
And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
Oftentimes we praise an offense for their variety of being able to hit people with the run in the pass. But in this game, how about what we're seeing from the safeties? They are all over the field. Doesn't matter if they threw it or if they're trying to run it.
I don't think we've ever awarded an MVU, most valuable unit, but you're right. It might go to them in this game.
I like that. MVU. Well done.
Now a deep ball there on second down, but it'll wind up incomplete. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary, it really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team that's playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
Now a shot taken on third down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Mike 5-4, Mike 5-4.
They'll try and throw for it here. Caught on the right side by Jones. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. Fourth down conversion plays, you usually think 1, 2, 3 yards, maybe 10. Not there. What a huge pickup as the Sticks make a drastic shift forward. So the big play moves them all the way across midfield. It's 1st and 10 from the 45. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46. D. Ford picks up his second sack of the afternoon.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness that defensive line is eating.
Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Sheldon Day. He's the one that drops him this go-around, and that pass rush getting strong here. Back-to-back sacks.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
High throw, but he makes the catch.
Pass interference. Defense.
Thought they were going to force a fourth down. Instead, P.I. gives them the first.
And that's frustrating because you think you've taken them really deep into the count, haven't you? Instead, you've got to start all over. That can really, really be demoralizing.
So from inside Niner territory now, this is 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Following the penalty, Anderson. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage. DeForest Buckner in on the tackle. That's a familiar call during this game. A lot of runs have been stopped right around the line of scrimmage.
And how about the big D tackle there? Not just eating up blockers, but making the tackle himself. We're seeing a lot more hand movement from those big guys up front to shed blockers and then go get ball carriers.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And the Niners get there and bring him down. Nick Bosa able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Off play action. Pritchett. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th. Another drive comes and goes. Still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. You just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line. And the 49ers getting set to trot out there. And they will begin with, should we call it, far from ideal starting field position, their own 2-yard line.
So what's your definition of ideal?
The 1-yard line on the other side of the field.
Yes, exactly right. So, yes, your definition is apropos in this case.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. They'll throw again from their own end zone. Looking sideline, incomplete.
Let's go ahead and detail this situation here. 3rd and long coming up. Back near your own goal line. I would be very hesitant about throwing the football in this situation.
Maybe just run up the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be the spot for them. You got to try and find some space for your punter because you don't want him backed up where he has to alter what he does.
It's a gain of just 3, and the offense likely going to yield to the punting unit here on 4th down.
Well, the guys who are paid to make the tackles deserve some kudos there, but I think they deserve even bigger ones because in that situation, they had to be thinking pass. Loosened up defense, going to pass coverage. Instead, maybe they surprised them a little bit running the ball, yet they rallied to it and stopped them well short of a 1st down.
And Detroit getting set to go now. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective. Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big dent.
And this is caught at the 8. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. A gain there of 21 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the ball, as we just saw there.
This is caught. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Kenny Galladay, his first touchdown on the year. And the Lions are able to cut into this lead.
Trying to make a comeback often appears daunting, but the only way to get there, start small, score, and worry about getting the next one after that.
Prater for the extra point, and it's now a 28-7 ball game. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And San Francisco gets set to go here. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
Offense.
Oh, moving from his tight end spot there.
Do you think that perhaps the play call was for him?
A bad false start penalty there. Now 2nd and 6. Throwing now is Garoppolo. Over the middle, he finds Pettis complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. It's a pickup of 17 and a first down. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Devon Kennard picks picks up his second sack of the afternoon. And here the pressure from the outside linebacking spot.
And normally when that happens and they're able to get home, that means the other guys on his team helped him out a lot. That they occupied people to allow it to be no less than a one-on-one situation, allows him to get home.
Let's go, boys. Bring it up.
Now the Lions offense, they get ready to head back out there. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
They start the drive with Anderson. And he will double the space they have to work with as they take it from the 2 to the 4.
Well, not a game that you're going to go crazy about, but when you start at your own 2-yard line, any type of space is good for the offensive guys.
Yeah, you just can't go backwards from here. They did it. Now we'll see if they can keep it on schedule here on second down. Again, Anderson. And that won't buy him much room. Just a 1-yard gain to the 5.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
The Lions on third down, not getting the job done at all. A very poor 1 for 10. This is 3rd and 7.
Protein spill.
Handoff comes to Anderson. And he'll get this awfully close to a first down. Boy, that's going to be a razor-thin measurement, but I don't think he got there. 7 yards on the carry there, but now they're staring at 4th down.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently.
Set, ready, 8, read. Check, walk 54, walk 54. You, go.
Now this time he'll look to throw. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
Pressure gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line. DeForest Buckner in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
I think most quarterbacks would love to have the goal line actually extend up into the air and turn into a wall. And they can put their back against it and know exactly where they are on the field so they don't end up in the end zone. Didn't do it on that play, but perilously close to the goal line.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. They'll run with Coleman on 1st down. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. On 2nd down, it's Coleman. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter. Play fake there to Coleman. Now Garoppolo. Blitz coming, and down he goes. And the Lions quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts. So that will leave them with no timeouts left. Still plenty of time on the clock. We'll see how that affects things here in this 4th quarter. Here comes the 49ers punter now. He's been terrific so far. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. 25 yards that time. So 1 play, and they're already just shy of midfield. Off the play fake. Pritchett. And down he goes. The 49ers get there.
All day, baby. All day. We coming all day.
So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over.
Hey, high 7. 54's Mike. Check, check. Watch 54. Watch 54.
To throw on 2nd down. Pritchett. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Back to throw. Pritchett. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Solomon Thomas, they'd love to see that from him as he slips in for the sack. Well, they were coming out of the 4-3 defensively. Pressure coming off that right side from the DN.
And that's the blind side of most quarterbacks. If you're right-handed, that's the side you don't see quite as well, and that's why you rely on your left tackle, maybe your highest-paid offensive lineman, to take care of you. In this situation, that didn't happen.
On 4th down, Pritchett. He's going to let it fly. And they will not be able to hook up there. It's incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And you can just about put this one in the win column for the 49ers. So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
Here we go. Here we go. 180.
They go down to a knee and a sigh of relief as they are into the win column for the first time this year. And that kneeled down a little extra sweet. You get the win, and you knock out somebody's perfect season.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because it's not a championship game yet, but the team that's undefeated feels like a champion. So you won a little bit extra in this one. Yeah, they've got to feel great about taking a knee here.
So the victory here for San Francisco, and it was a game where they were off and running in the first quarter, Charles, and never looked back.
You know, partner, after a while, we always say the same thing, don't we? They set the tone early, right? They started fast. So I asked a few of my horse racing friends, do you have a term for me that we can use to cover that? And they said, yeah. When a horse breaks out like that, you say he caught a flyer out of the gate. And that's exactly what this team did today. I mean, they jumped out there, jumped on them, and were never headed.
So for the 49ers, it took a while, but they finally get that first win after 4 straight losses. And they'll have another road date next week with the Los Angeles Rams. Meanwhile, for Detroit, they taste defeat for the first time this season as they drop to 5-1. And now they'll head to the bye week as they'll be back in action in Week 8. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.